YouTube, what's going on? Tanner here with NFL Broadcaster. I have a special guest today, Ian from JetsCentral. We are both partners with the Fan to Fan Network. Guys, go check that out as well. And I'll put the link in the description to Ian's channel, JetsCentral. He makes the best Jets content out there. He's got a huge passion for the New York Jets. Ian, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So as we discussed before, I didn't really have prepared questions for you, but I was just excited to hear about anything you wanted to talk about for your team and the new era, I would say, of the New York Jets, with especially the recent news of Sam Darnold being traded to the Panthers.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the thing is with the New York Jets, it's like the last couple of seasons, it's been absolutely brutal with Adam Gase. I mean, I'm sure you know, losing games, just not being able to get back on track, all that stuff. But there's so many things changing, right? New head coach. We brought in a new general manager, Joe Douglas, a couple seasons ago. So new relatively new GM, new head coach, new culture. We traded Sam Darnold. So new quarterback. We have the second overall pick, probably going to be Zach Wilson. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We have 2 first-round picks this season and next season. We got, super high second-round pick. All in all, things are looking up for the Jets, and there's a lot of moving part. There's a lot of new things happening. So, I mean, to come out of the other end from these past two seasons of straight hell, it's really, really, really encouraging.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited, and it does kind of seem like it's a lock that it's going to be Zach Wilson. But I got a question for you. What if it wasn't Zach Wilson? If it wasn't Zach Wilson, would you rather it be Justin Fields or? What do you like there?
Yeah, so I feel like that's a pretty big question or discussion amongst Jets fans right now.
Yeah.
Personally, I would be pumped with Justin Fields. I really like Fields as well. I don't think you can go wrong with either. Trey Lance or Mac Jones, I would definitely be I would still root for him, obviously, but right. I would be like, what are we doing? Kind of we traded back 10 spots and still got Mac probably.
Right.
But with Trey Lance, that one's kind of up in the air because I like Lance. I think he could be good. I don't know if he's ready to play right now. Right. And I think 2 might be a little high, especially when, the latest surrounding Trey Lance is maybe 8 to 15. So if Lance is the guy for the Jets, I would much prefer them to try to, trade back some way, somehow. And try to, slot down a spot number 9 with Denver possibly, or, even 10 with Dallas, or trying to think of other teams right around there that could possibly trade up. Cause we couldn't trade up with New England. So I don't know. All in all, right. I like Fields. I don't like Mac for the Jets. And then Lance, I'm still jury's still out.
Yeah. No, I get that. I've always had I don't want to be one of those guys who toots their own horn, but I've always feel like I've had a natural eye for talent. I don't know, I grew up playing baseball, and I knew when I'd watch my teams, I just played for just a city league. So I was new players every year, but I knew he would be good for left field. He would be good for right field. And he's going to make a good second baseman kind of thing. And, I get that vibe from Trey Lance. I just don't. Potential's there, obviously, and I think anyone who makes it into the NFL, obviously, you have skill set, but I just don't think it's all there for, you know what I mean, for Trey Lance.
For Lance,
yeah,
you're talking about.
I'm
okay.
just not full confidence in if that's the route that the Jets wanted to go, they could definitely trade back a couple spots if they did want a guy like Lance, because I think he'd be available.
Yeah, so if you're looking at Lance, who do you think is the best fit for Lance, for him personally? And then where do you think he's going to end up?
That's a good question. I don't know. I always, at the beginning, there was a lot of rumors with 49ers, and then they actually did trade up. I
think Atlanta at 4 makes a lot of sense because if he's not ready to play, he can sit behind Matt Ryan for a year and have no pressure. Get chemistry with the teammates, learn the playbook, have just focus on practice and getting better and whatnot. He doesn't have that immediate save the franchise right now. If you throw interceptions, the fan base will turn on you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like that's actually the kind of boat right now that Tua is in. Like, if you look at his performance from his rookie season, it's not like bad. I mean, and his stats are like comparable. I've seen like stats pulled up. Tua's first 6 games, Tom Brady's first 6 games, and Tua's is like way better, statistically. I'm like, guys, you got to give him a chance. And now there's like rumors that they might even look for quarterback help in the draft or a wide receiver. I don't know. There's just a lot of people bashing Tua right now. But like,
right, I mean, they brought in Will Fuller, so that'll definitely help. They have Gesicki, Devontae Parker, and who knows, maybe they still land Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts or whoever it may be, Devontae Smith, 6th overall. So, I mean, I feel like you definitely have to go offense if you're Miami.
Oh, yeah, you got to get more help for Parker, I feel like, He's just – I love Devontae Parker, and I feel like he should have been traded a long time ago. I mean, he deserves better, in my opinion. But now that the Dolphins had a good season last year, so I'm excited. It was really cool to see him do well. But they got to get more weapons offensively for Tua, and I don't know. But one thing I wanted to cover in this draft is actually, we're confident in Herbert. He had an outstanding rookie season, but I've been told that if that Oregon offensive lineman, I might butcher his name, Penei Sewell or something like that.
Yeah.
If he slips past like 4 or 5, because it's looking like the top 3 picks right now in the draft are going to be quarterbacks. So if he slips past like 4 or 5, the Chargers are rumored to trade up and draft him to protect Herbert too. And I think that would be a really smart move. And there's also rumors that the Falcons, are open to trading down. And then if they do trade down, I'm going to call it right now. I just know it's like a Bill Belichick move. He's going to trade up, and he's either going to get Fields or he's going to do something at the quarterback situation. That one's kind of an iffy call, but I know it's going to be a quarterback.
So do you think the Pats would move up to 4 or the Chargers would move up to 4?
See, that's the question. That's the ultimate question. I don't know. Whoever's like suited for it more, I bet the Patriots. If anyone could do it, it's going to be the Patriots because it's just masterminded organization, even without Brady there. I think it would be the Pats, but I think the Chargers could still find their way to trade up. I think what do they have, like the 13th overall pick, something like that maybe?
Yeah,
So if the Falcons do trade down, confident that they could land like Lance later in the draft. I don't know. It's just so hard. I don't know who would trade up, the Chargers or the Patriots. They're both like rumored to. But overall, I think I would see that the Patriots taking that farthest and more serious.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it's like, like you said, that the top 3 picks are going to be quarterbacks, but at 4, that's really where the draft starts. And like, it kind of sucks for Atlanta because like, yeah, they can definitely use a young quarterback on the roster, whether it's Fields or Lance or Mac Jones, whoever they want. But I feel like the team needs like corner and linebacker. There's not really one worth taking running back as well. Like, you're not going to take one of those guys at 4. You would take Kyle Pitts, but like, they have Hayden Hurst. They have multiple offensive weapons. They don't really need a lot of help on offense, in the pass game. So it's interesting. Like, I feel like Atlanta, you either take a quarterback at 4, just take your guy and just move on, or you trade back and you go get like Surtain from Alabama or, JC Horn from South Carolina or something like that, but you acquire more picks while doing so.
Yeah, and for the Falcons, I definitely feel like that's the hard part. Like, I could see them taking a quarterback to let sit under Matt Ryan, because I don't think Matt Ryan's necessarily the problem in Atlanta. I'm not necessarily a fan of Matt Ryan, but like, he's not the problem, man. They need defense. So I do see them taking that opportunity to trade back and probably helping their defense. That's what I would do if I was in Atlanta's position, and maybe finding a quarterback, second round or something, third round. I mean, there's a lot of talent out there that people even forget about. Now, like, I'm kind of biased towards Arkansas, but like maybe a guy like Felipe Franks, who played quarterback for Arkansas. I mean, there was a lot of issues because I worked at the football games and I saw how he played. You know, he had problems holding onto the ball too long, but he's a leader. And you pick a guy, let him develop under Matt Ryan and learn some things for like maybe even 2 years, however long Matt Ryan's going to play. I don't know. And just develop that defense. I think first off in this draft is what they need.
Yeah, and it's funny too because like Frank's transferred from Florida, and I'm from Florida, so I've seen a lot of Franks over the years. Big body dude, huge arm. There's a really tight spiral. Like Franks to me was always like the guy with a ton of potential, a guy who could really push the ball down the field. I mean, he had some legendary games for the Gators, but
yeah, he did.
I always just felt like he was a little too like clunky. Like it was just never smooth, or like it was always just like not like physically stumbling over himself, but I always just felt like there was something there. Like he was always throwing the interception at the wrong time, or he was taking the sack on 3rd and 7, like knocking him out of field goal range or something like that. Like what could go wrong will go wrong with Felipe Franks.
And that is something that followed him to Arkansas. I noticed a lot of times it'd be like 3rd down and he's like holding on to the ball too long, rolling out of the pocket. And like, he's got the ability to escape. He's a big dude. Like, I didn't realize how big he was, but he's big.
Yeah.
And he's got the ability to escape, but it's just like, I'm like, dude, you got to learn to throw the ball away, or don't force something. Cause that was his problem, is he'd force something and, I don't know, he would just end up taking the sack, and he always had a problem like that. But like, I don't know. I think if he could actually learn from a veteran, he wouldn't be a bad pick. I mean, obviously, he's not somebody that teams are even considering looking at. Like, so you could draft him in a later round and be fine. He's got a lot of. It's like a low risk, high reward situation, in my opinion.
I think he'll go like maybe round 5, 6, or 7, somewhere in that range. I mean, like, of course, like you have your top 5 with like Mac and Trey and all these different guys, first round, and then like so far we're hearing Kellen Mond maybe round 2,
right,
maybe like the first couple picks in round 3, but after that, I mean, there's definitely a big drop off. I mean, like Davis Mills from Stanford, like there's a lot of buzz surrounding him. Kyle Trask from Florida, Felipe Franks. I'm trying to think of other guys that could be like maybe late round sleepers to build around, but I feel like Mond is kind of like the golden child at this point.
Yeah. Mond is like, he's going to be one of those quarterbacks in the draft that's like not necessarily slept on or overlooked. They're just going to realize, hey, 2nd round just started, and they're looking at the draft boards. Kellen Mond is still available. How is he still available? Like he'll be like one of those guys. And I know that like I'm not a fan of Ian Book, but I know he was a starter, I think, for 4 years.
Yeah, good call.
I think he's in this draft too. I don't think he's like, I'm not a Ian Book fan or Notre Dame fan, but I know that he's got 4 years of starting experience under his belt. Maybe I see him as like a career backup or something, but like, I mean, you never know. I'm not going to just say that's his role. You just never know, but he could be someone that really slips to like 5th or 6th round, maybe farther. So,
yeah. And one thing that's actually really interesting that I was thinking about the other day, not only is it going to be like this huge like influx of like rookie quarterbacks that we're going to like check out in preseason, and like, all these, different quarterback battles, and like even like the late round guys like Franks and whatnot, but we're also going to be getting like, we're going to be seeing quarterbacks that were picked last year for the first time as well, like Jordan Love, because there was no preseason last year, so there's like so many things to look forward to. Jacob Eason from Indianapolis. So like if you're a fan of like young quarterbacks and like, interested to see how these guys progress and how these guys are picking up the offense, then this preseason I think is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like the rookie quarterbacks last year, and I know for a fact, so I'm a Packers fan, Jordan Love, I don't even think he dressed out. He was like 3rd string. He wasn't even active for any of the games. Like, even if they did by chance have to go to a 3rd string quarterback, I think they would have had, to play someone in there as like an emergency quarterback. I don't think they were going to give him any playing time anyways. So I don't even know if he dressed out.
That's crazy. I didn't even know you were a Packer fan.
Yeah. I'm a big Green Bay fan. lifelong. I was a Brett Favre fan. I was a big Peyton Manning fan too. So I followed the Colts while he was in Indianapolis, and when he went to the Broncos, man, that 2013 season with Manning, I rooted for him so much, and then they got demolished in the Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm a big Green Bay fan. So I thought, but like, I just noticed, I was like, Jordan Love, every single game on the sideline was, just like in hoodie, he wasn't even football pants. I only think he was like active, like, I don't know how like the rosters really work, but I don't
yeah, like you have like your 53 man, you have like a practice squad and all that kind of stuff. But so did you like the Jordan Love pick?
No, no, dude, I was like watching the draft, like probably like every other Green Bay fan, just like, dude, what the heck are you doing? This is a guy that would have been available in the second round, potentially even like the third round. But I'm not a GM for a reason, so I can't necessarily say like that was the wrong move. I didn't even know much about Jordan Love, so I had to go back and watch his college highlights. Can't necessarily say I was shocked or impressed, but I saw what they saw in like his arm talent. But like statistically, I was like, not worth trading up in the first round. Not when Aaron Rodgers clearly needed other help.
Yeah, and dude, it kind of sucks, like, because I like Green Bay, honestly. Like, I'm a huge Rodgers fan. I know, like, he has that like thing about him, like, oh, he's too arrogant. He's might be a little bit too like he's not a good leader and stuff. But I've always loved Rodgers. Just he's such a beast.
He's a baller.
And back when, because the Jets and the Packers fired McCarthy the same year that the Jets fired Bowles, and Matt LaFleur was the guy that I wanted the Jets to get, and then Green Bay got him. I'm like, damn, dude, like that was the guy. So I've always kind of kept my eye on Green Bay for the last couple of seasons, like pretty well. Like I want to say I've watched like the majority of Green Bay games, or like at least caught the replay.
Yeah.
And it just sucks because I felt like the season came down to Rodgers once again having to do everything.
I know, dude.
And like you could have, like that pick could have been that guy to catch, that touchdown, or that like that 2-point conversion, or whatever play it might have been.
So many dropped like opportunities, like MVS like did gain a lot of confidence in Rodgers, but he still like would miss a key long ball drop, or to me, Aaron Rodgers, when that guy retires, you're losing so much in football. Like, there's just something about watching Green Bay Packers play, Aaron Rodgers play. You can never count the guy out. Like, he's done everything. And like, as a Packers fan, I'm so like hurt for him. Like, our franchise has let him down over and over and over again. We kept, was it Capers, Dom Capers, for 5 years, 6 years too long. We kept Mike McCarthy. I wanted him fired in the 2013 season. I wanted him fired after the 2013 season. And then 2014 came back, and I think that was the year that Jordy Nelson came off an ACL tear and like comeback player of the year. And they had, Cobb, Nelson. I think they had Eddie Lacy and Rodgers. Their offense was really good that year. So it made McCarthy look better than what he was, and I was like, no, he's still the problem. And then we hire Matt LaFleur, and 2-13-3 seasons. Not saying that's not bad. I mean, that's really good, but I know there's still issues, and it's defensively, and just like failing Aaron Rodgers defensively, and not having the proper weapons on offense, I guess.
So, bottom of the first round, are you leaning more towards maybe wide receiver, maybe an offensive lineman, because you lost Lindsley and the left tackle, or defense?
That's hard, man, because Packers, I don't think I've drafted a first round wide receiver since, who was it? I don't know who their last first round receiver was. So I don't see them doing it again, honestly, even though they get a lot of hate for it. I think they're going to do some defensive work. I would really like a cornerback. I don't know who's going to be available at that point. And I don't know much about this draft, to be honest. I know like some of the big names like J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain. He's a baller. I watched him at Alabama. But past like some of the big name cornerbacks and like linebackers, I don't have a lot of knowledge on. But I do think we need a cornerback, CB2. I mean, that's a big need for us. And we got a new defensive coordinator too. So I just don't know how that's going to play out.
Who's the new DC?
Oh, frick. What's his name? It's from the Rams. Barry. Mike Barry.
Yeah, I wonder what defenses, because I know Mike Pettin was there and he kind of like he had success early, I thought. But
I wasn't never a fan of the Pettin hire. It's Joe Barry.
Okay.
Who does not have the best track record when it comes to defenses. Like he had the 0-16 Lions defense and that's an awful year, embarrassing year for the Lions, dude. I mean, was that the year that like the quarterback like ran out of the back of the end zone and like was still trying to run and like play?
I don't know. I think it could have been that year.
It wasn't Matthew Stafford.
Detroit had a couple of really bad seasons.
Yeah. There was one really bad like play where I think it wasn't Matthew Stafford. It was like a backup QB. He was like running in the back of the end zone, like looking for an open pass, but he like ran out the back and didn't even realize it.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I think that was the 0-16 year. And then he was Washington's coordinator and they finished like 30th in total defense. But he's been with the Rams. He has experience with Matt LaFleur and just like that entire, ever since Sean McVay was hired, they've had a pretty good coaching system there in LA. So I think that's a good case, and I hope that wore off on him. But I was not confident in the hire either with the Pettin hire. I was not confident in that either, and that played out.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens, what route Green Bay decides to go down. I mean, It's funny we're talking about like Rodgers' lack of weapons, and at the same time they haven't taken a wide receiver in the first round since whenever. So it's like maybe that could be an issue here.
Yeah, I know. I think Devontae Adams was a second-round pick in 14. They lost Jordy Nelson. They lost Randall Cobb. I do like Robert Tonyan, but then it makes me think, why in the heck did we draft Jay Sternberger in the second or third round last year? I'm like, why did we draft him if you guys have him third or fourth on the depth chart? It's just like frustrating. Just like when you draft offensive weapons who had tons of talent in college and a lot of potential, and then they're not really going to get the chance. So offensively, like I would love if they selected a wide receiver to help Aaron Rodgers and really build the guy up. I think he could learn a lot from prime Devontae Adams. Maybe
like Kadarius Toney or something from Florida. Trying to think of who else. There's so many wide receivers in this draft that are good. Obviously, Waddle won't be there. Devontae Smith won't be there. Jamal Chase won't be there. And that's the thing, real quick, about Chase and the Bengals. I've heard that rumors like Joe Burrow's pushing, instead of drafting Sewell, they're wanting to push to draft Jamar Chase. They just signed Thaddeus Moss. So they're trying to get that 2019, championship team back together. That could be interesting, but I don't think he needs offensive weapons. I think he needs offensive line. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I really like the direction that Cincinnati's going in.
I do too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Joe Burrow's coming back, 5th overall pick, high 2nd round pick as well. So it'll be cool, man. I can't wait to see it.
Yep. Let's get back to talking about the Jets. I know that's your team. Tell me your biggest concern right now offensively and your biggest concern defensively.
So I, honestly, like it's kind of hard to say because we don't really know what the new coaching staff looks like. We don't know who's going to be the quarterback. We have a brand new defensive system that's going to be installed. We're going from like a 3-4 to a 4-3. But I would say the biggest concern offensively right now, like before the draft, is interior offensive line, because that position was absolutely horrible last year. Like the tackles are great, but the guard play and the center play was so bad last season. And if the plan is Zach Wilson at 2 or rookie quarterback at 2, and he's going to be starting next season, we can't just roll him out there with the same offensive line.
You saw that with Burrow. He tore his ACL. I mean, you don't want to do that.
And that's a position where, entering free agency where the Jets had tons of cap space and we didn't address it at all. We brought in Dan Feeney, but he's like a rotational depth piece. I know that the Jets really wanted Brandon Scherf from Washington and then Joe Thuney from New England, but Thuney ends up going to Kansas City on like a mega deal. So interior offensive line is definitely the biggest concern offensively. Okay. And then I would say defensively, pass rush. Can we get after the passer? We've brought in Carl Lawson, but that other edge spot is kind of up in the air. I really like Quinnen Williams and Sheldon Rankins on the interior of the defensive line, but that other edge spot is crucial. That position's wide open, because if we can't get after the passer in this style of defense, then quarterbacks are just going to have all day to throw and just pick us apart.
So on the defensive line for you guys, I don't know how many years it's been, but you guys used to have a pretty good pass rush. You had, was it Sheldon Richardson? I feel like ever since he left New York, he hasn't done anything. Like I haven't really heard his name.
Yeah, so like
where he went.
Right. So like going back to those years, we had Sheldon Richardson, Leonard Williams, who's now in the Giants, Muhammad Wilkerson for a little bit. Those were like kind of the core 3 guys like on the defensive line. And then of course Snacks Harrison. But he wasn't really like a pass rusher. But I mean, we really haven't had like that dominant edge guy or like that dominant sack artist like in years. I mean, I know you guys have Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, and those guys had like really solid years. 2019,
right?
Like it's been so long since the Jets have had any sort of production like that.
Okay, yeah, I don't. Besides like that era, like you said, Snacks Harrison, Leonard Williams, and Wilkerson. I mean, like I always knew them. They were like a strong, like run-stopping group. It was like I really was a fan of that defensive line. But yeah, I guess you're right. Like I just haven't heard of like when's the last time the Jets led the league in sacks, or you know what I mean? Like or having like
dude.
That.
I mean, like it's gotten so bad to the point where like 5 to 6 sacks is considered like the best on the team, and like that's like the goal, like 5-6 sacks. Where it's like you look at other teams out there, and like they're getting guys with like 8 and 9, and those guys are like the second pass rusher on the team.
They got like 8 or 9 each. Yeah, that is a big concern.
I mean, it's sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say it's so annoying to see like so and so leads the team with sacks at 4.5. It's like, oh my god, like
that's bad.
We got to get better, man.
Is that any reason you miss Jamal Adams? Do you find your defense hurt without Jamal Adams?
So, yeah, I mean, like the thing with like Jets fans don't like Jamal Adams, obviously, because like he forced his way out and is just throwing kind of like these like online temper tantrums a little bit, like just like get me out of here, like do this, do that. But I love the haul that we got back in return. 2 firsts, a 3rd round pick, and Bradley McDougall, who was like our starting strong safety last season. Obviously we missed Jamal last season. He's one of the best safeties in the league, if not the best strong safety. But I mean, he supposedly wants $20 million a year, and that's just too much, so just part ways with him. But we definitely did miss him like on the field wise.
Yeah, because I know like I've never watched a lot of Jamal Adams, but I know he has like a nickname. Is it like Sack Boy or something? Is that
Blitz Boy.
Blitz Boy. Okay, yeah. So I didn't know, like, is that what he's known for? Is rushing and trying to sack, or is he more of like a defensive pass breakup guy?
So he's an absolute monster in the box, right? Getting after quarterbacks. The dude had like 8 sacks or 8.5 sacks this past season at safety. He literally set a record.
That's crazy.
But that nickname was kind of like thrown out there as almost like that's all you can do, like because you don't intercept the ball, you don't make plays downfield, you don't really do much in pass coverage. So Blitz Boy was kind of like that's the only thing you're good at, kind of thing. It was almost it was like directed as like a shot to Jamal.
That's really funny. But how did McDougall play for you guys though? I know he was a starter, but like, did he perform well?
So like kind of average. You know, sometimes he'd make plays, sometimes he would miss, you know, assignments and whatnot. He's still on the open market. He won't be brought back. We brought in LaMarcus Joyner instead.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you guys have actually made some pretty good moves. Joyner's a good safety. He's safety, right? Joyner is.
Yeah.
Okay,
Last season he was nickel corner though.
Was he with the Raiders?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't think he had like a very good year with the Raiders. Mm-hmm. That's probably because he's playing out of position, what he's known for. You said your biggest concern is the defensive line. Who are you looking at in the draft? Like, who would be your choice? Like, after the second overall pick, what's your guys' next pick?
23.
So you got 2 first rounders. That's really good. Who are you looking at 23? What would you do with that pick?
Well, I mean, the good news is like because the Jets are coming off of a 2-win season and we have a lot of holes, we can go offensive line, we can go cornerback, we can go wide receiver, we can go linebacker or edge rusher and still be getting an upgrade. We're not like locked in like Green Bay where we're only looking at like maybe 2 positions and like we're hoping that maybe like 1 or 2 guys that, you know, could be there for the Jets like case. You know, we could potentially be looking at like 6 guys. Like we're just hoping one of these 6 guys is on the board and then just take them and get a huge upgrade. So for me, I'm looking at like I'm hoping Caleb Farley falls from Virginia Tech.
Yeah, he's good.
Because that'll be huge. I really like Greg Rousseau from Miami. People are saying he's going to go round 2 because of the bad pro day and stuff. But at the end of the day, man, like I want to look at the entire body of work in 2019. Where he had 15.5 sacks in the ACC, as opposed to judging him on one day where he's not even like playing football. So I really, Go ahead.
No, thank you. No, it's like that's what I hate about the combine. That's what I hate about pro days. Like personally, every time I went to a baseball tryout, I blew it, man, because like I was like nervous, and you know you got like coaches writing stuff down, watching you, and like you just. Like, is my arm warmed up? Am I fully ready to go? Like, I just hated, and I hate combines. I don't think drills like the vertical jump and, you know, broad jump, stuff like that is like even translates over to like how they play in football. So like if that's the reason to me, like where someone falls is because they had a bad combine or pro day, I'm like, you know what? You can let them fall, and I know talent when I see it, kind of thing. I'm not going to let something like one day, you know, make their whole draft. Like that's what I hate, and I think that a lot of coaches let that happen. You know, they're like, I didn't like his combine. I'm like, well, fine, you're gonna miss out. I'll take him.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, Miami's other pass rusher, Jalen Phillips, I think is a beast. I mean, there's some injury concerns there, but I mean, I think he'd be a great fit for New York. Greg Newsome, cornerback from Northwestern. The Jets can go in a lot of different ways, man. Like that's the thing. Like even if we want to like still go wide receiver after bringing in a couple guys, like it wouldn't be like a horrible pick. The only thing that I feel like would just be like, what the hell are we doing kind of thing is if we take like another quarterback, and that's not going to happen, you know, or a safety.
Yeah, because you saw Marcus May. I'm a big Marcus May fan too. I feel like he's pretty solid.
Marcus May and LaMarcus Joyner are like
you're gonna have
starting guys.
Yeah, you're gonna have a good backfield, a good safety core. There's one guy at one college school that I have liked since like 2014, 2015 that have kept producing players, and that is Iowa. Iowa has like consistently been producing players, and I'm looking at Iowa. There's a defensive lineman, I believe, if I can find him. I forget his name. Let's see.
Out of Iowa, yeah. I mean, they consistently put out good offensive linemen, good corners.
They're underlooked.
I think Green Bay actually has a couple Iowa corners, Josh Jackson and no, Josh Jackson's the only one actually.
Josh Jackson, and I think Kenny Clark played for Iowa.
UCLA.
Oh, did he? My bad. Who we have someone else that played for Iowa. We have Kevin King, which I was not a big fan of that re-signing, but he was a cornerback for Northwestern where Newsome is. So like that's the only reason I'm like iffy on Newsome. I'm like, oh man, what if he turns out to be a Kevin King? Like, I'm just not like a big Kevin King guy. I mean, he's good he's all right when he plays, but he's just always injured.
1 year, $6 million, I think.
Yeah, to me that's overpaid. Like, why would you pay $6 million for a guy that wasn't even signed yet? He wasn't even getting offers from other teams. It's just silly in my opinion.
I like Alexander from Louisville.
Alexander, yeah, you know what? That pick surprised me in that draft. It was at the 18 draft. I was like not happy with that draft. Boy, was I stood corrected on that. I was not a fan when they drafted him. I could see why they did, but I thought that he went too high. This paid off so far. He's like one of the top 2 or 3 corners in the league right now, and can't go wrong with that. I'm not gonna complain about him anymore. They shut me up on that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that Iowa guy that I really like. I totally forgot his name, but it's whatever. I can't find him. But I feel like Iowa is just like consistently. I think, did George Kittle play for Iowa? Because he played with Nick Mullins and C.J. Beathard. C.J. Beathard was a quarterback at Iowa, and they were on the 49ers together. And I think that's why like Kittle had like a big goodbye for Beathard when he was a free agent.
Probably. I know Iowa they always like that. That's a school that's like historically known for like putting out offensive linemen. But they had Noah Fant too, I think.
That's right. Yeah.
And what's his name? T.J. Hawkinson.
Yep, that's right. Maybe it wasn't Kittle then. I feel like Kittle was at Iowa too. So they had a stack.
I think he was actually, but he wasn't like this, guy coming in with huge expectations.
No, yeah, like he was always like, I remember like I have family in Iowa. Every time I go to Iowa, dude, they're just like watching football, and I remember like they were always rooting for George Kittle. So I feel like because I'd always think, who's the Skittle guy? But like it was George Kittle.
Yeah, it was Iowa.
So think about it. I think him, Hawkinson, and Fant all had that at least like 1 or 2 years together, and I mean, that's nuts. Like for 3 tight ends to be like successful right now in the NFL, that's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So they're known for like producing offensive linemen, and so is Stanford, I believe. Stanford is having some. I think we drafted like Cole Madison like 2 or 3 years ago, who ended up like we had this offensive lineman that like retired from football for like mental health reasons, but like he never really got the chance, but he was supposed to be really good. I don't remember his name, but Stanford and Iowa, I really like players that come from those schools. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But, yeah, your defensive line, definitely I can see how you're not pleased with 4.5, 5, 6 sacks leading the team. That's not very impressive.
No. It's just like the edge position and stuff like that. Just like, can we get after passers? Like I like us stopping the run, and I mean overall I like the defensive line. It's just that number. Can we get that stat up?
You guys have a new defensive coordinator, right?
Yeah, brand new coaching staff coming in.
Okay, who's your DC now?
It's Jeff Ulbrich from Atlanta.
What was his position with Atlanta?
So he was interim DC. So Dan Quinn got fired.
Right.
And then Morris took over as head coach, and he was the DC. And then they promoted Ulbrich to interim DC. And then when Robert Saleh got hired by the Jets, he was brought over from Atlanta.
Do you like that?
I thought we could have went with Chris Richard, who ended up with, I think, the Saints, but he was kind of the guy that I was shooting for because he spent some time in Seattle with Robert Saleh, working with like the LOB and everything.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was part of that.
Yeah, and then so we brought in Ulbrich, so it's like the same. It's like similar ideas as far as like defensive systems are concerned, but I would have preferred Richard just because I don't know, I just really like his body of work, but I don't think Ulbrich was a bad hire by any means.
It's good. At least you
but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I mean, the Falcons defense looked pretty good like down the stretch of last season.
After the Dan Quinn fire, they did step up for sure.
Yeah, so I just don't want to say like, oh, that was 100% all because of Ulbrich. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And then y'all lost. I know Robbie Anderson, like 2019, as he spent 2020 with the Panthers. Who else do you guys have at receiver right now?
So we brought in Corey Davis. We have Jamison Crowder. We brought in Keelan Cole from Jacksonville.
I didn't know that.
And yeah, it was a 1 year, $5 million deal, so like super cheap. And then we have Denzel Mims, who was a second round pick last year out of Baylor.
Was he hurt?
For the first 6-7 games, yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, he was like supposed to be a stud too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he came back and he like instantly, like the second he got healthy, he like leapfrogged the entire team to become like the team's best wide receiver last year. But like Flacco was getting him the football like crazy, but once Darnold took back over, he just like struggled to find him. So,
are you overall happy about the Darnold trade? Like, I know you're happy with what you got back, but like.
I mean, it was time to move on. I didn't really like Darnold that much at USC. Like, I thought he could have been a good quarterback, but I don't know. He just had so many red flags, like turnovers and mechanics and, ball security, just fumbles, coming from a super simple offense. Like, and I know that a lot of people love Darnold, and he was supposed to be the guy to turn it around, and he third overall pick and stuff. Should have went 1 to Cleveland, but I don't know. I just wasn't really happy with that pick. I thought he was going to get rushed in there and have a lot of pressure to be like the savior of the franchise. And you take pressure and you add that to a turnover prone quarterback. I think that just is going to result in more turnovers, more like pressing, and that's kind of what happened. So all in all, I never really was the biggest fan. I wanted to move off of him for a while now, so I'm happy that he's in Carolina. Hopefully he does well, but I'm pumped that we can move forward with somebody else.
He'll have Joe Brady, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he was the LSU Tigers passing game coordinator or quarterback coach or something. So I think hopefully he'll have a fresh start, breath of fresh air. And I think I remember watching your Sam Darnold live reaction, and you were like, no, but okay, Jets, I'm gonna support you, but
yeah. That's kind of what happened. Got a lot of flack for that video, but I mean, I don't know. I just preferred. I would have rather had any of the other 4 quarterbacks in that class. Like looking back, like I know hindsight's 20/20, but like even back then, like I was all about Josh Rosen. I really like Josh Allen. Lamar, I thought could have been good. I didn't think he was going to be this good. But Baker was like the number 1 guy I wanted for New York, but he went number 1, kind of shocked everybody. And
then, I didn't expect him going first.
Yeah, like the next guy I wanted was Rosen.
I liked Rosen out of college, honestly.
Yeah, me too. And like some of the stuff that you start to like really dig on Josh Rosen like today, like why he didn't work out in Arizona and stuff. It's not because he's like physically incapable. It's more so like from like everything that I've heard, it's just like he doesn't really prioritize it. Like he just doesn't want to put in the work, supposedly like he's just like late, like he was late in use at like this thing at UCLA. Like it's just like off the field stuff, not like legal things or anything like that, but it's just like work ethic. So it's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, like he still has upside. He could still be good one day. He's still so young.
Right. Yeah, he was like 20 years older, like 21 coming out of. I mean, he's a very young quarterback. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Ryan Mallett when he was drafted. He got. I mean, Arkansas, he was a beast, but like when he was drafted, he had a lot of character concerns when it came to just his motivation to play. And he was like late when he had the starting opportunity for the Texans and then like missed the flight because he's like, oh, I just slept in. And like, okay, well, you're released. Get out of here.
God, dude, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, and he played for Baltimore too. Joe Flacco's backup and had some good games, but like it's just motivation was just like nothing. And then he had like a DUI when he retired. He got like a DUI back here in Arkansas. And I was like, bro, like, why'd you waste so much potential and talent? But I mean, Rosen can still definitely step up. He's very young. He's like 23 still. So
yeah. And you know, like it's crazy because you see like these quarterbacks playing for like a long ass time, like in today's like Brady aside, like you still have, you know, Fitzpatrick and Rodgers is up there in age, and you know Drew Brees played forever. Matt Ryan's like upper 30s, like. Dude, like in some cases, like Josh Rosen is literally 15 years younger than guys that are taking snaps in the league. So, you know, can you just do enough to like stick around? And then once you find your team, almost like Tyra Taylor a little bit for Buffalo, like, you know, he was a backup his entire career for Baltimore. And then he just signs to a team that like has like an open competition.
Yeah.
And then he won the job and you know, made a ton of money and won a bunch of games. Kind of became like, you know, like a name that everybody knows now.
Yeah, and the thing about Tyra Taylor is like most people don't know he has a Super Bowl ring. You know, he was part of that. Was it 2008 or no? Flacco was drafted.
No, it was Flacco's one. So it was when they beat the Niners.
Yeah, but he was a backup, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, like so most people don't even know he was part of a Super Bowl team, and I mean, yeah, he's like probably mid-30s now, but he's still like physically capable and gifted to be caliber starting quarterback. And I've heard a lot of great things about Tyra Taylor's character and leadership in the locker room. But yeah, that's the kind of guy I'd want. I'd choose a guy who's like even a backup, but like makes more of an impact in the locker room than I would a quality starter who has character issues, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Is there anything else you wanted to cover before I end this recording?
I think I'm good, man, honestly.
All right, guys, YouTube, everyone listening for the podcast, guys, thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far, Ian, once again, thank you for joining me, man. I really appreciated it. And I just love to hear from other content creators trying to branch out. And I'm excited to watch the Jets this year. I will say that. Yeah,
it should be exciting, man. Thanks so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Definitely, no problem.
Definitely have to do it again.
Yeah, sounds great to me. I'll let you know when this is up and posted, and we can shoot from there.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. See y'all.